Hello, everybody. Welcome to Deep Green, and I'm so glad to be here in wonderful East Bay area, which I understand is a hotbed of political activism. So thanks for coming out of your hotbeds to join us today. Now, this is a conference that's really about this. You know, I mean, everybody, right? Back in the old days, I'm going to have to make a confession. I did try it, but I didn't exhale. And that was it. And so here we are. This is the Deep Green Conference, and primarily this is a grassroots movement where we are rooting for the grass and the grass is rooting for us. Now listen, the real issue here is hemp. Marijuana is just a smokescreen, okay? Because it is an economic issue. It's an economic issue, and it's really about monopoly, because we have this wonderful plant that can do everything, and we are trying to make it illegal for a plant to grow. That is how wonderfully sane our culture is, to make it illegal for a plant to grow. When actually the Declaration of Independence was written on hemp. And in fact, some of them might have actually been on hemp when they wrote it. Because did you know that George Washington was the first user of medical marijuana? He had painful false wooden teeth, and he used it to manage the pain. So, of course, he was the first to practice transcendental meditation. Now, of course, the real issue is economic. Now, I don't know about you, but I am nostalgic for the good old days. Remember the old days when people robbed banks? Remember that? Ah, yes. That is funny because it's not funny. Yes. No, here's a story. This should actually tell you everything you need to know. There was a Swami, a rabbi, and a hedge fund manager traveling through the Midwest. They needed to stop for the night. They stopped at a farmhouse, and the farmer said, "I'm sorry, I only have 2 beds. One of you is going to have to sleep out in the barn." And the Swami said, "Well, I am a humble man of God," and off he went to sleep in the barn. But 5 minutes later, there's a knock on the door. It's the Swami. He said, "There's a cow. Cows are sacred, but I cannot sleep near one." The rabbi says, "I have no issue with cows," and off he goes to sleep in the barn. But 5 minutes later, there's a knock on the door. It's the rabbi. He said, "There's a pig. Pigs are not kosher. I cannot sleep near a pig." Well, at this point, the hedge fund manager said, "You know what? I have no issue with any animal whatsoever. I'm going to go sleep in the barn." And 5 minutes later, there's a knock on the door. It's the pig and the cow. So what we have to do is realize that the issue of legalization of marijuana, legalization of hemp, it's really only one issue. It's the issue of who is in charge of who's in charge of our government. What we need to have is government of the people, by the people, for the people, where the government does our bidding, not the bidding of the highest bidder. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, "Swami, you're proposing a sane world. You must be crazy." But that is really what we have to do, because we've had a gold-collar crime wave in this country, where the gold-collar criminals have figured out how to collar the gold without getting collared themselves. And they have learned to use their energy, what the Chinese call qi, to gain unfair advantage. This is called cheating. And of course, there's what they call the trickle-down theory, right? All the wealth is up there, and some of it trickles down. And that is why they call the people at the bottom peons. Yes, I think something's trickling down. How about that? Oh, it's showers of gold. That's what it is. So it's very, very important that we have been divided in this country into the red tribe Republicans, blue tribe Democrats, spending all of their energy arguing about whether it's worse to kill the born or the unborn. So we need to actually bring people together outside of these separations, yes? Now, we do have a deeply divided body politic. Half the population believes our elections are broken, and the other half believe they are fixed. And so we need to leave these artificial designations of left and right and come front and center to turn the funk into function and leave the junk at the junction. We need to bring red tribe and blue tribe together to sit in sacred circle and talk until they're purple in the face. Because only when we stand as one purple people will the peeps outnumber the perps. So this is the very, very beginning. I think what we need to do is to create an organization. I am calling it Independent Citizens United, or ICU. And that is how we, the people, overgrow the dysfunctional system from the grassroots up and have a heaven of a time doing it. Are you with me? Now, I can see that you're all very, very spiritually, very elevated, and you recognize that each of us already has all of the answers within. It's matching them with the corresponding questions. That is the challenge. And so if you have an answerable question for the Swami, I'll repeat the question. The Swami will have a questionable answer for you. So who has a question for the Swami? Maybe some of you upfront people here. Oh, don't make me start channeling. Yes, a question. Shout it out. Am I celibate? Well, you know, actually, I was celibate for 14 years. But when I turned 15, I said, enough of that. And by the way, I am on the celibate path right now. I try to celibate every place I go. So there's books and CDs. I will autograph your books. And there's a no-lose proposition. If I become very famous, you have a famous autograph. Otherwise, you have a rare book. Yes? Oh, my prediction for 2012. Well, you know, funny that you should ask, because I'm writing a book called 2012, The Secrets Revealed. It's coming out in 2013. And you know what? I don't make any predictions because I don't want to lose my nonprofit status. Yes? How do you turn Obama and Congress on? Well, you know, somebody asked me recently if I could speak to President Obama, what would I say? And I said, you know, I'm too humble to speak to him personally. I would have to channel the late, great Richie Valens in order to deliver a message. So if you will indulge me, I will channel Richie. Are you ready? Oh, Obama, 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 Obama. I had a hope. Obama was his name. He won the race, but hasn't changed the game. 'Cause I love my world. Obama, where can you be? We need your cheer. Now that you won, I feel so alone. You bailed out the banks, but millions lost their home. 'Cause I love my world. Obama, where can you be? Where can you be? Oh, Obama, now that you're in, don't you know what to do? Just ask the ones who work for you. Boom, 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 boom. I had a hope. Obama was his name. He won the race, but hasn't changed the game. 'Cause I love my world. Obama, where can you be? Where can you be? Obama, 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 Thank you. That was for my Omis. Now, somebody asked me recently, they said, Swami, is there any difference between the Democrats and Republicans? I said, absolutely. The Republicans, they will bend over backwards for the bankers and corporate interests. Democrats, completely the opposite. They will bend over forward. Any other questions? I still have several answers left. Yes. How do you end prohibition? Well, I said this earlier, I will say it again. It really involves people coming together outside of political party lines to step outside the matrix of politics and begin to gather in communities and talk across political lines. We have the progressives, we have the libertarians. All of those people want to see legalization. It's simply the corporatists in the middle who don't. And so that's why we need to overgrow the government, and the way that we do it is by having conversations across these party lines. Anyone else? Yes. Okay, can you repeat that? 9/11 UFOs and chemtrails. I have a new song called 9/11 UFOs and chemtrails. No. No, actually, how many people think we're being visited by beings from other planets? I'm curious. Okay. Okay. How many people are beings from other planets? How about that? Okay, that explains something. How many people think we're being experimented on by beings from other planets? Well, yeah, I happen to agree with that, because apparently these beings are very much like we are. They like to experiment on less evolved life forms. And so they're using us to test their cosmetics. Now, in terms of 9/11, I'm what they call a coincidence theorist. What an amazing coincidence that no planes flew, right? What an amazing coincidence that Building 7 came down. And of course, when people talk about conspiracies, what a conspiracy theory is, a conspiracy theory is something which, if it were true, people couldn't deal with it. But I say that the truth shall upset you free. And the most important thing that we can do is use the power of laughter to shine the light on the darkened corridors of power. Because if we end up laughing together, it certainly beats crying separately. Any more questions before I take my samadhi? And everybody needs samadhi sometime. A question? Something that's been puzzling you? Yes. Okay, one right here. Yes. What is the meaning of life? Well, I know you find that hard to believe, but I've heard that question before. And I've had to ask myself, why do people always ask that question? And what people really want to know is, why is it that bad things happen to good people? And I think I figured it out. God is dyslexic. No. God, oh, no, the God is, she's okay, but God is dyslexic. He created the universe for his 6th grade science project and got a C. Okay, one more question, yes. I can't hear you, louder. What is the importance of love? This is the most powerful tool that we have been given. You see, we have been manipulated by fear into this idea of homeland security. What we really need is heartland security, because our true security is in the land of the heart. In the head, we have all these beliefs that keep us separate. We need to leave the static of the head for the ecstatic of the heart. Right? The more we expand our heart, the less we're going to need to shrink our heads. I want to leave you with some good news, okay? The good news is this. We have a choice every moment. Do we choose love or do we choose fear? And the good news is, love is more powerful than fear. Otherwise, we'd be singing, all you need is fear. She fears you, yeah, yeah. See, we're not singing that. That's good. So I want to thank you so much for being here. You know, I've read recently that laughter is Oh, you have a question? Oh, you're thanking me. Well, then I want to tell you something. I read something very recently that physiologically, laughter is a lot like orgasm. So thank you for coming. May the farce be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Swami. Let's have a hand for Swami. Beyondananda. Beyondananda.